Good evening, and welcome to Numpty News, to only bulletin brave enough to ask, if your pilot's been blagging it since 2009, who exactly's been parking to plane? God. Tonight's top story comes from Canada, where a former airline pilot's been charged after allegedly flying for 16 years without a proper license. Right then, that's right, 16 years. Some people can't renew a library card, yet this bloke apparently spent over a decade popping off internationally in a metal tube full of holidaymakers and beige panic. Exclusive, shocked readers told us this is like finding out your surgeon learned anatomy from tobacco of a cereal packet. Authorities say the chap flew more than 900 flights. 900. At that point, it stops being a paperwork cock-up and starts looking like the world's most confident game of let's just see what this button does. Numpty News dispatched our aviation expert, male local runway lurker Clive Womble, to a drafty airfield cafe.
I'm not being funny, but planes are best flown by people who know what all the fiddly bits are for. If your captain's qualifications came off a printer behind a vape shop, I'd sooner walk to Spain in flip-flops.
Strong if true. Meanwhile, female frequent flyer Sharon Puddles was still fuming into a paper cup of tea the colour of roof varnish, insisting she'd always suspected something were off with modern aviation.
I knew summat were dodgy when the captain sounded too cheerful. One landing felt like he'd lobbed us at the runway and hoped for the best. I've had smoother rides on a knackered washing machine.
Right then. In scenes reminiscent of a budget apocalypse, Sharon said passengers may now be mentally reviewing every bumpy landing they've ever laughed off, with a tiny bottle of wine and a clenched backside. Also weighing in was male amateur paperwork dodger Barry Crimp.
Frankly, I find it inspiring. If he can fake being a pilot for 16 years, I should be allowed to have a crack at dentistry by Thursday. Confidence is basically a license, isn't it?
Right then, let's crack on. Officials have not embraced Barry's reform agenda, mainly cause they're not completely off their bollocks. From the airport perimeter fence came female retired travel agent Doreen Minge, who said to Scandal explains why flying now feels all a bit wonky.
Did you now? Well, that's just flippin' typical, isn't it? You sat there strapped in tight, and the pilot's rummaging around for the ruddy handbrake. I tell you, I'd have tightened everything and all, clenching muscles you didn't even know existed. The dread of it, love.
So tonight, questions remain. How do you fly hundreds of times without a proper license? Who checked? Did nobody into office glance up from the biscuit tin and ask, hang on, why's Captain What's-His-Face printed his credentials in Comic Sans? It's another glorious modern farce. A world where your shampoo has more regulation than to bloke landing you in a snowstorm. Ray, let's get stuck in. That's all from Numpty News, where we'd like to reassure viewers that all our presenters are fully certified, apart from Dave on weather, who still thinks a barometer is a pub doorman.